Welcome to Federal Employee Knowledge. I'm Jesse Black. Today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most common questions I get. Jesse, I want to retire, but I'm not eligible for a full unreduced pension. How can I retire early? Or more specifically, we're going to address the minimum retirement age plus 10 provision with the federal government. With the minimum retirement age, you have a couple early retirement options. The first thing is you need to hit what's called your MRA, or minimum retirement age, which I'll show you what that is in a second. You need to have at least 10 years of service to be eligible for the minimum retirement age plus 10. And that's again where you're eligible to retire with a reduction in your pension. In my other video, I show you how to be eligible for a full unreduced pension. But if you don't meet one of those requirements, you can retire early with a reduction. That reduction is 5% for each year you're under the age of 62. So if you separate at age 58, you're 4 years under age 62. So you would have a 20% reduction in your pension. And I'll show you that better here in just a second. Also, keep in mind though, if you reach age 60, and you have 20 or more years of service, remember you're eligible for a full unreduced pension. So we're talking about if you have under 20 years and you're under the age of 60 and you've hit your minimum retirement age. But I'll show you that better here in just a second. First, let's remind you what your minimum retirement age is. It's based on the year you were born, and it's different for each individual between the age of 55 and 57. So take a look at the chart here on the screen, look at the year you were born, and then it'll tell you what your minimum retirement age is. Now, let me explain the reduction a little bit better by looking at a case study. Let's say that a 58-year-old had 18 years of service. So every year under the age of 62, they're going to have a 5% reduction for a total of 20% lower pension for the rest of their life. If, however, you're separating from service, you don't want to start your pension with a reduction, there's some options to wait to take your pension with no penalty. And there's two key ways to do that, each with important distinctions. The first way to do it is what's called a postponed pension. And the key to be able to postpone your pension is that you've hit your minimum retirement age or older, and you have at least 10 or more years of service when you separate. Then, if you did reach those requirements, you're able to apply for your pension at age 62. You will not pay a reduction in your pension or a penalty when you started at 62. Your high 3 will be the same when you separated from service. But more importantly, and the big distinction with the postponed, is you are eligible to restart your federal benefits, both your FEHB and your FEGLI. Now note, you must have had your FEHB for at least 5 years prior to separation. Then you'll be eligible to start your pension and restart your benefits. That's postponing. Now let's take a look at deferring your pension. And again, the big key here is you haven't reached your minimum retirement age and you don't have 10 or more years of service. You have to have met both of those to be able to postpone. If you haven't met those, you can defer. And again, the difference here is you are still able to apply for your pension at age 62 without a reduction. And again, the high 3 is the same, but the difference is you can't restart your benefits, such as your FEHB and your FEGLI, when you start your pension at age 62. You have to have had at least 5 years of service to qualify for deferring your pension. So that's the distinction between deferring and postponing, to try to avoid paying a penalty on separating early. Also, sometimes there's early outs offered. This is another way to retire early without a reduction in your pension. Some of the different early outs that can be offered are due to a reduction in force or a RIF, maybe discontinued service, downsizing of certain agencies, reorganization of agencies, transfers of functions where your function is no longer there, they may offer you an early out where you can start your pension before you were fully eligible and keep your benefits and not pay a reduction in your pension. Now, there's no reduction if you're at least age 50 and have at least 20 or more years of service, or any age with 25 or more years of service. So if an early out is offered, a lot of times the early out offer is unique. Sometimes they will offer, in addition to a non-reduced pension if you're eligible, if you've reached one of these eligibilities, sometimes also a lump sum cash incentive to take the early out as well. Now, hopefully that helps you guys understand the different options you have when you separate from service before you're eligible for a full unreduced pension. With everything, and as always, there's always things to consider and pros and cons. If you're offered an early out or you're looking at maybe retiring early and you want to compare the differences, feel free to schedule a one-on-one phone call or web meeting with me at your convenience by clicking on the Book Now button on my Facebook page. As always, this has been Federal Employee Knowledge, and I'm Jesse Black.